Greetings, everybody. This is Ryan Stasek. Join the techno club. Hi, little flower. The sound should be good because I cleaned the darn speakers for the toothbrush. And I tested it earlier. He keeps looking up at me. Hi, Corey. I do a little dancing first. Get my cardio in. How are you? I'm good. This sounds a little Irishy to me. Oh, stop it. Thank you. Hi, Madison. You know you ought to be proud. Keeps looking up at me. This is Tulip. Tulips. She's one of our kittens that we had. It'll be 3 years this September. Woo! So that was called Viral Dirge by Ryan Stasek. This one's called Floating Lanterns. Gibby Station. Where'd you go, Tuna? Gibby Station. Ghibli. Ghibli. Dogline. Hi, Bracken Wiltshire. I don't know. This one's a little slow. next one is Reviver.
So let's see, let's stop this one. How's everyone doing? Uh, let's say hi. I'm very impromptu. I don't really know always what kind of music I'm going to choose, even from the YouTube Studio library. I don't have a regular intro. I don't want one. Um, I'm very ad lib. Reply me. Hello, Mr. Backus. Nate says stop. Madison says I'm leaving. Oh, that's okay. I mean, shoot. The fact he even popped in here is good enough for me. Well, and Muth. Hmm. Send private. No. Send number? No. Hi, Freeside. Hey, hey, hey. Antonio, you are very pretty and beautiful, my lovely princess. Blessings, beautiful queen. That is so sweet. That's very nice of you. Thank you. And I don't know what flag that is. Light blue with white. Antonio Sepulveda. Oh dear. Thank you so much. That's very nice. Hi, Cracky, says Mitchell Holmes Dalton. Well, I know it's not crackly, but I watched back my live before this one, and my my voice didn't match the words. Thank you. Well, you're the first to ever call me a princess, much less a beautiful one, like ever. Thank you so much. Um, so yeah, yeah. Hi, Plaka PGGGGG. So, um, anyway, that's a bummer. Maybe it's working this time with my words moving with my mouth, and it's not behind a little bit. But I do know that the music isn't glitching because Clint Carbaugh. Hello, beautiful. Thank you so much, you guys. Wow. Um, unless it is now, I don't think it's crackling. I don't think it is because I cleaned the little speakers with a toothbrush, and I've done it before. I just didn't know it needed it again. Um, and then I also deleted some apps, right, that I wasn't using. That's another thing that when I Googled how to get rid of crackling and stuff, so it's not crackling, right? Hello to the 7 in the. Oh, I guess we'll just say out at your barbecues. Where are you from? I'm from Pennsylvania. Oh wow, my um, daughter's son is in. No, wait, is he in Pennsylvania? Yeah, he is. My daughter's son is in Pennsylvania. I'm in Washington State. I've been here since 1991, but I'm a Midwest girl. That's what I am. I was born in Vermilion, South Dakota. It's apparently a real college town now. Pretty sparse, when I was a little girl and lived there. But yeah. So, but I moved here to remarry my ex, and we were together the second time 15 years. Well, physically 7 years, in the last 8, or the first 8 and the last 7 separated, and that's a story I won't get into. But anyway, yeah, and I'm still here because I had, 2 children were born here, and I didn't want to take them from their schools and their friends and all that and move to the Midwest to be near my family. I mean, I would have loved to. And like, I don't think I did the wrong thing, but the fact I haven't seen before my mom passed and my sister, maybe I didn't do the right thing. I don't know. But I moved so much as a little girl. I really didn't want to. We're talking Vermilion, South Dakota to Vermont, to back to Vermilion and back to Vermont when I was a teenager, and, you know, and then stayed in Vermont and then moved to Minnesota and visited, someone in California, and then took the bus clear across the country 3 different times by myself. The entire United States. Visited a friend in Rhode Island. Took a bus to Florida to see my sister when she lived in, what is it called? Now I can't remember. It had that really bad flooding. I think it starts with the letter F, but I can't remember. So usually I have better like dancing music, you guys, and that kind of thing. I say this a lot, but my channel is different too because I've had some health issues. I had an acute kidney injury due to dehydration, which is not the same thing as just dehydration, my doctor said, but he said the kidney can heal with drinking enough water within months. And I went ahead and looked at my test results because I had to have my blood drawn, and it's right in the middle. My keratin, or whatever for the kidney is 60 something, and that's what it's supposed to be. And he'll discuss it with me when I see him in 3 months, my doctor, but I was really, really relieved. The shocking thing for me, though, is my bad cholesterol is high. It's over the border mark, whatever, on your thing, And my other, which I think is the LDL, and my HDL is low, which needs to be higher. And that's really kind of upsetting and even disconcerting for me because I am on a heart med and have been since my stroke in 2020. I had a clot the size of an M&M in my thalamus. I had no idea. And even when I was having a stroke, I had no idea what was happening. Like it just, And I took off my jacket when I was locking up my bike at the eye appointment, and it rubbed, and I couldn't feel anything on the top of my wrist. And I paid attention. That's why I pay attention to your body. I was just starting to have a stroke and didn't even know. And then last year, I had a stress-induced heart attack. So some days I'm seeing now anyway, as I get a little older, I need to sound not good. Really? Shoot. Anyway, I need to take it a little more easy on different days, and especially warmer days. We're supposed to have some 85-degree weather this next week. Hi, Moonlight and Flare. Hi. Somebody just told me my sound was bad. And I think you were in here earlier when I was doing the sound check, and the sound was good then. Is it literally bad? Like, is it literally bad? I'll wait for your response, because I don't know if that guy's kind of teasing. It's crackly. Oh my God. I almost feel like crying because I was just ecstatic that it wasn't before. All right, I'm going to reboot my iPad and I'll be right back. See if that makes a difference. Okay. Oh, well, thank you, Adam and Threat. Well, this is the thing. My sound for days or weeks has been don't know, like I'll say two whole sentences or a song will be playing and it'll glitch. It's a real pain in the ass, like it just is. And so I cleaned out the speakers, deleted some apps, I updated my other apps. You know, I did everything I was supposed to do. But just now I was having another iPad charging because I have a it's a psychological learning tool video. Basically on when you stop explaining everything in your life, especially on the internet, which I've basically been doing now. It'll be 3 years at the end of August. So, you know, in another month and a half, it'll be 3 years. I've had a channel. Apparently everything changes, so I'm assuming for the better, right? How is the sound now? Reboot it. Because earlier my mouth wasn't, my words were ahead of my mouth by like a quick part of a second, and I'd rather deal with that. Getting better, really? I'd rather deal with that than the interruptions of every song, every sentence I say. Thank you. Is it glitching, you guys? I even said on my last sound check, I said I'm just waiting for it to go wanky again, and it is. Is it crackly still, or a little less crackly, or is it crackly and glitching? You know, glitching too. Does my mouth match my speaking? I mean, what a bummer. I wonder, is it better when I lift it up and the speakers aren't covered that way? I wonder if it's better this way, with it at an angle a little more. I'm waiting for your responses. What a disappointment, though. I'm so disappointed right now. It's better when you're close to it, but it's like muffled when you stand back. Really? Moonlight and flare? It's better. What about when I have it up like this? Is it better then, by any chance? You're okay, hun. Keep entertaining us, please. All right, well, really quickly, with it up off the blanket like this, is it any better? What? It is? Oh my gosh. Okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna move this table back and put these like this. I'm leaning on my, oh wow. How is it now? How is it now? Ow, my knees are hurting. How is it now? It's up off the blanket. All right, so this next one is Broken Promise by Jimena Contreras. How is it now? Oh, I'm like screaming over this music. Tell me how it is now. Much better? Really? have it on the speakers now. And I liked this song last night, but it's a little... Oh, there we go. Your problems with that's life, sweetheart. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting and quick. This one's Black Thorns. Black Thorns. Are you on something? No, I quit drinking in 2011. I've never done hard drugs. I smoked some pot. You know, I tried some COCAINE and some SPEED in the 80s. I've never done a gummy. I don't smoke pot. I quit that when I was 24. I had a bad experience. How do you stay in such great shape? I eat like one meal a day for one. I'm not that hungry. And I rode my bicycle for years. I think that made the difference. No riding a car, walking or riding my bike everywhere. Is it crackly or staticky? Some it's okay. Oh, I just don't get it, you guys. Alright. That song is just too sort of whatever, you know? Uh, what? No. I feel like I'm in church, which isn't a bad thing. I don't know. This is Nat Keefe. That's kind of cool. This is the Soundlings. This is all the sound waves. This one's called Challenge Accepted. Hi, Kenneth. Apparently it's flipping crackling, and I rebooted and everything. I don't know what's going on. I even have the iPad up off my bed. Phew. That's fast moving. Well, thank you, Jimbo. You cannot be the Jimbo down in Kentucky. Thank you, Kenneth. Kenneth and his wife, Jennifer, are so sweet. I don't want to get copyright, so people like to, pick out some tunes for me, but Kenneth and Jennifer Russell. Yes, I told you yesterday, I think Jennifer's my middle name. Yep. Megan Jennifer. But I have the fan going. I wouldn't think that that's causing the glitching or the static. Is it still staticking? I'm going to turn off the fan and see if that makes a difference. Because sometimes with less... Yeah. How is it now? And I literally have my Zumba sticks like this, and the speaker's not covered because they're more in here. And remember how ecstatic I was earlier? I mean, I listened back to that live, Kenneth. It wasn't staticky. It wasn't crackly. And I had that light on. Hi, Lucy Louie. How is it now? Underwater. What? It's like that? The sound is that bad? Good Lord. Is it the same? Oh my goodness gracious. Now it's going to get really warm in here. Still a little static. See, this is what I mean. I'm really, maybe I need to clean the speaker out just for a second while I'm, let me try this again. Lennon is alive. Hello, comrade. Hello. Okay, so could be the speaker in your tablet or phone. Well, I took away apps last night. I mean, I deleted apps, and I even went into settings and then general, like it said. So I'm gonna put my camera on, and I'm gonna mute, and I'm gonna clean the speaker. Okay. Is it any better with my incredible tool here? Well, thank you, but I mean, it's just, is it just static and not glitching, or is it glitching and static? One thing I did notice, Kenneth, is my mouth wasn't matching or moving with my words, even though the sound was completely perfect. I just cleaned the speakers again. Static. What is going on? All right, I'm going to turn off this light and you tell me if it's staticky. Because maybe that's interference. Of course, the picture, look at the picture. How's the sound? I do have a feeling once I turn off this iPad, those things happen. I know, but I was so relieved earlier. Okay, I turned this iPad off. Hi, Mudasser Habib. Thank you, I am. How is it now? Just yeah, I know, but I'm surprised I get any views, Right, okay, so it's not even crackly right now? Oh, no, I smile and I laugh. I've cried on here. I've been through a lot. My mom died a year ago, my sister this past January. Please be happy always. Yes, you're right. I try to look at the glass half full, not half empty. Thank you. Still a little. Wow. Okay. How is it when I turn that lamp off and I turn this on? Oh, thank you, Mudasifer. I do have a lot on my plate. It's okay. We just want you to make us happy. Well, thank you. Um, how is it with this light on? Uh, Kenneth. I divorced my husband the second time, and the first time we were married, we were both young in our 20s, and he divorced me. Um, I didn't do anything wrong, but he was in the Air Force, and you know, hi Goldman, hi there. How's the sound with this light on? Usually, it's really not too good. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Mudas. My hobbies. I used to like to read, like as close as the past 5 years, and I pretty much read all my books. But I could go to the library and get more. I'm not really into ordering books online and all that Kindle stuff or whatever it's called. And I just started with all this technological stuff about 3 years ago. Um, and yeah, I had to learn everything. Oh, oh. Well, thank you. Yeah, I have a pretty purple rug I can put on the floor, but it was kind of getting in the way. Yeah, I like to sing, and Kenneth was here. I did karaoke, and I didn't get a strike, but I got no, I didn't get a strike, and I didn't get a copyright. I got a warning. You know, so like even karaoke, you can't even really do on here. And I did it for the first time. All right, well, artificial flowers, yes. My name is Megan, and I live in Washington State right now. Or I have been, since 91. But yeah, so I don't even have this iPad on over here. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna play this video, you guys. Oh, really, Adam? What part? I'm in Bellingham. I've said my town before. Nice to meet you, Mudassar. Mudassar Habib. Thank you. Will you guys help me get to 5,000 subscribers? It's been my goal for months, and I'm getting closer. Burlington, that's 45 minutes from here. Wow. Yeah, I brought my son there at the Chuck E. Cheese place. Thank you. Excuse me, I just had some water and. Okay, so oh, you're in Tennessee now. I visited Chattanooga when I was 27. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mudas, Sir Habib. You're very nice too. Very kind. So, I've been moving a little bit off and on here for a good hour, and I'm going to play the video now. Okay, let me see. I'm Karim from Morocco. Nice to meet you, Karim. Would you like me to continue the sentence? And where are you from? Oh, I don't know if you're talking to someone in chat or me? I'm in Washington State. And yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I don't even have any moderators. I mean, I have Team Rose, but she's probably busy or doing a live. All right, I'm going to mute and get this thing going. Yeah, my ex-husband and I mean, we get along okay, sort of. But I mean, I've known him, right? Over half of my life. All right, just a second here. All right, so I like to share some words of wisdom, right? And when you stop explaining yourself to others, especially online, things change quite a bit. So this is my setup, and yeah, here we go. I unmuted. This is, what is it, 20 minutes long. I'm not going to talk to anybody in chat, but hopefully the sound is good because sometimes just the music does weird glitching and this doesn't.
There's a habit so common that most people never even notice they're doing it. It happens in text messages, in family dinners, in offices, in relationships. It happens when you're late, when you're quiet, when you say no, when you feel something you can't quite name. It's the habit of explaining yourself. At first glance, it looks like good manners. It looks like empathy. It looks like the mark of a considerate person who cares about how their actions land on other people. But underneath that surface, something else is often happening. Something Carl Jung spent much of his life trying to understand. Jung believed that the compulsive need to explain yourself is rarely about courtesy. It's about a wound that forms early, that hides in plain sight for decades, and that quietly shapes almost every relationship a person will ever have. This is a script about that wound, where it comes from, what it costs you, and what happens on the other side of it, when a person finally stops asking for permission to exist. Think about the last time you explained yourself for something small. Maybe you canceled plans and immediately followed up with 3 reasons why. Maybe you turned down an invitation and felt the need to prove your excuse was legitimate. Maybe you disagreed with someone and softened it with so many qualifiers that your actual opinion got lost in the apology surrounding it. None of these moments feel dramatic in isolation. That's exactly what makes the pattern so hard to see. It doesn't arrive as a crisis. It arrives as a habit, one small concession at a time, until eventually a person realizes they've spent years narrating their own life to an audience that never asked for the explanation in the first place. Jung's insight here is uncomfortable, but important. A person who constantly explains themselves is often someone who never received a very basic form of permission to simply exist as they are, without needing to earn the right to their own feelings and choices. When that permission was missing early in life, a person learns to manufacture it externally, over and over again, through justification. This tends to take root in homes and environments where a child's inner experience was treated as unreliable or inconvenient. A child says they're scared, and they're told there's nothing to be scared of. A child expresses anger, and they're labeled as dramatic or disrespectful. A child cries, and they're told to stop being so sensitive. None of these responses are necessarily cruel in intent. Often they come from tired, overwhelmed adults who simply want the discomfort to end. But the message received by the child is much bigger than the moment itself. What I feel doesn't count unless someone else agrees with it. That belief doesn't stay in childhood. It follows the person into adolescence, into their first relationships, into their careers, into the way they raise their own children one day. It becomes an invisible operating system, quietly running in the background of every interaction. Before I feel safe, I need someone else's approval. And so the explaining begins. Not because the person is weak or overly agreeable by nature, but because somewhere along the way, they learned that their internal reality wasn't allowed to stand on its own. It needed a defense attorney. It needed evidence. It needed a closing argument that would convince the jury of other people that this feeling, this decision, this boundary was reasonable enough to be allowed. Here's where the pattern becomes genuinely costly, not just uncomfortable. Every time a person explains themselves in order to be accepted rather than simply to communicate, they are making a trade. They are trading a piece of their own authority for a moment of external safety. This trade rarely feels like abandonment in the moment. It feels like being reasonable. It feels like keeping the peace. It feels like being easy to get along with. But multiply that trade by thousands of small moments over the course of a life, and something significant starts to erode. The person's trust in their own perception. Consider what actually happens internally when someone forces a laugh at a joke they don't find funny, just to seem agreeable, or when they say yes to something they don't want to do, because saying no might make them look selfish, or when they describe their sadness as simply being tired, because admitting the real depth of the feeling might make them a burden, or when they feel a flash of anger and immediately relabel it as overreacting, because anger doesn't fit the image they've built of someone calm and easy to deal with. Each of these moments is small. None of them look like betrayal from the outside, but from the inside, something is happening every time. A quiet vote against your own experience. A quiet agreement that what you feel is less important than how it will be received. If a person can only feel safe acting once they've secured someone else's understanding, then in a very real sense, they are not the author of their own life. They're a character being edited by an outside committee made up of parents, partners, coworkers, even strangers on the internet, all of whom get a vote on what's an acceptable way to feel, think, or behave. And here's the part that tends to catch people off guard. Individuation requires loss. Not loss in a punishing sense, but loss as the natural cost of becoming more yourself. Some relationships were built entirely on your willingness to explain, defend, and shrink your own experience to keep the peace. When you stop, those relationships often don't survive the change. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the terms they depended on no longer exist. It's worth being precise here, because stop explaining yourself can sound, out of context, like an invitation to become cold, dismissive, or unwilling to communicate. That's not what Jung was describing, and it's not what internal authority means in practice. It's offered because it adds value to the conversation, not because the person's sense of safety depends on it being accepted. None of this requires becoming a different person. It requires practicing a different relationship with discomfort, specifically the discomfort of being misunderstood. Most people spend enormous energy trying to eliminate that discomfort entirely. Internal authority doesn't eliminate it. It just stops treating it as an emergency. Something interesting tends to happen the moment a person stops compulsively explaining themselves. The reaction from other people is rarely neutral. Manipulation and control, whether intentional or not, tend to rely on a predictable ingredient to reactivity. If a person can be counted on to over-explain, over-apologize, and scramble to manage another person's disapproval, then very little effort is required to steer that person's behavior. All you have to do is express disappointment, confusion, or mild disapproval, and the explanations start flowing, along with whatever concessions come attached to them. When that reactivity disappears, when a person simply states their position and doesn't scramble to defend it, the entire system stops working the way it used to. This is often experienced by the other person as a loss of control, even if they wouldn't describe it that way out loud. It's not unusual for the response to escalate before it settles down, precisely because the old strategy of applying pressure isn't getting the usual result. This doesn't mean every person who reacts negatively to your boundary is being manipulative. Sometimes people are simply adjusting to a version of you they haven't met before, and that adjustment takes time. But it does mean that the discomfort other people feel in response to your silence is not by itself proof that you did something wrong. Often it's simply proof that something has changed, and change of any kind tends to create friction before it creates a new equilibrium. One of the more reassuring aspects of this whole process is what it reveals about the people already in your life. When you stop performing constant justification, you get, often for the first time, an honest read on who actually values your presence versus who valued your compliance. People who are drawn to your steadiness, your humor, your actual character tend to stay, sometimes with more ease than before, because they no longer have to wade through layers of apology and hedging to get to the real conversation. People who are primarily drawn to your willingness to accommodate, to justify, to make yourself smaller when needed, tend to drift. Not always in a dramatic way. Sometimes it's just a slow fade, a gradual reduction in contact, as the relationship quietly runs out of the fuel it used to run on. This isn't something to fear, even though it can feel disorienting while it's happening. It's simply the natural sorting that occurs when a relationship's actual foundation gets tested. A friendship or partnership that depended on your constant self-justification was never as stable as it appeared. It just hadn't been tested yet. Losing that kind of relationship isn't a tragedy in the long run, even if it hurts in the short run. It's closer to a correction, an honest picture replacing a distorted one. There's a specific quality Jung associated with people who have done this work, people who no longer live from a place of constant justification. He called it psychological integrity, and it's worth distinguishing from stubbornness or rigidity, which can look similar on the surface, but come from a completely different place. Rigidity comes from fear. It's the refusal to bend, because bending feels dangerous. Integrity comes from coherence. It's the ability to hold a position not because you're afraid of being wrong, but because the position is genuinely, internally consistent with what you know to be true for yourself. A rigid person cannot tolerate disagreement. An integrated person can sit calmly across from disagreement without needing to win it. This quality tends to be felt more than described. Most people have met someone who carries this kind of presence. A person who doesn't raise their voice to be heard, doesn't over-explain to be believed, and somehow still commands more attention and respect in a room than people working twice as hard to prove themselves. That's not charisma in the conventional sense. It's the visible result of someone who has stopped negotiating their own basic worth in every interaction. Jung's argument here is almost counterintuitive. The less a person seeks approval, the more approval tends to come to them naturally, because what they're radiating instead is coherence, the sense that there is no gap between what this person says, what they feel, and how they act. That kind of alignment is rare enough that people notice it immediately, even if they can't name what they're noticing. So what does life actually look like on the other side of this shift? It's worth being honest that it isn't a dramatic transformation that happens overnight, and it isn't the erasure of every insecurity a person has ever carried. It's something quieter, and, in some ways, more durable than that. Conversations change first. Instead of rehearsing justifications before a difficult conversation even begins, a person starts simply saying what's true, and letting the conversation unfold from there. This alone tends to shorten a lot of conflicts, because so much of what makes conflict exhausting is the layer of defense and counter-defense stacked on top of the actual disagreement. Decision-making changes next. When a choice doesn't need to be pre-approved by an internal committee of imagined critics, decisions get made faster and with less second guessing. This doesn't mean every decision becomes easy. It means the difficulty shifts from will this be acceptable to everyone to the much simpler and more honest question of is this actually right for me? Anxiety often decreases, not because life becomes less complicated, but because a huge amount of anxiety was never really about the situation itself. It was about managing other people's perception of the situation. Remove that second layer, and what's left is often far more manageable than it seemed. And relationships, over time, tend to become both fewer and better. Fewer, because relationships that depended on constant accommodation don't survive the shift. Better, because the relationships that remain are no longer built on performance. They're built on two people who actually know each other, rather than two people managing carefully curated versions of themselves.
Try our team for 7 days, and if you're not impressed, you don't even have to pay us. We will help you strategize, ideate,
moments that actually make up a normal week, because the pattern rarely announces itself with a dramatic label. It shows up in small, almost forgettable
Oops.
These
Oh, oh my God, my sound wasn't even on. All right, so yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, my friend of since 1991 and I had a major ending slash falling out over, and she went as far because I couldn't meet up with her, and I wanted to wait until the following month of August when her birthday is. She's about 7 years older than me. Um, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's really weird. We were both typing these long explanations of our lives to each other, and I don't really talk all on the phone anymore, and I don't have time like that. And when I tell her, your kids are grown, and I mean, mine are grown, but hers are out of the house and married, and do you know what I mean? All she has to do is be concerned about herself and her health, and yeah, and so she was getting angry, and I used the word projection. That made her mad, but I said, "Look, I think you're missing your family, and I don't blame you, but I can't. I can only do what I can do." And I said I had that, that AKI, acute kidney injury, which is more than dehydration, and then my heart attack and my stroke and everything in the past, and I thought she kind of would be more understanding as we both got older. No. It's like I'm getting more understanding and can go with the flow, and she's like, not. Yeah, yeah, and so then she said, "Well, you make 20 excuses," and I told her, I said, that hurts my feelings. Why would you say that? I said, out of everyone I've known since I was 30, I was 30 when I moved here. Um, why would you say that? And she denied it, and I didn't like it. And I said, you deleted just that one thing on Messenger. She tried to say it was her phone, and it's not. I mean, it is what it is. But I wasn't ending the relationship because of that. I was just explaining my situation, and she was too. And then all of a sudden, she types, "I want the nice Megan back, not this evil entity." And I had to do some real soul searching. I was just like, what? Like, I couldn't even believe it. Now, she is kind of religious and used to go to church and all that, but don't call someone you've known for 34 years. She met my mother in uh, Linden, Washington, when she flew and saw my son when he was 3, because it was, for Mother's Day. And, I mean, we're talking, she used to come over for game night and dinner night and all these things. And she adores my kids. As they grew up, she liked to bring little gifts and be called the auntie and all this. And I've done a lot. I mean, I've done whatever I can for her. And people say, oh, you shouldn't say what you do for others. Well, I beg to differ. I rode my bike across town, I don't know how many times, 20 some years ago, to set up a garage sale with her and sit there in the hot sun. Because she had people go in her apartment too. Um, yeah, and another time I helped her set up all her Christmas stuff, because she did artwork on the windows, really good painting and stuff at different establishments in town here. So she was on her knees a lot, on ladders, on bags of dog food. And so now she can barely walk. And I mean, I saw her around Christmas, and I said to her, I gotta try to get together more with you. But more's happened to me, and in my life. And then she was like, oh, you always think your kids have it worse than mine, and you're comparing. I mean, it was really awful. And then she said she was done with me, like, done. And I was just like, I'd leave back these messages, what on earth? So I'm dealing with that. And I'm, been dealing with Sierra Queenpin Clark since the end of March. Not constant. There was 3 weeks of nothing, no bickering, whatever you want to call it, bantering. And then recently 3 weeks. And then I commented over on someone's channel, and she mocked basically what I said. But then I have people that turn around and say, oh, she really cares that you guys aren't friends. No, I don't play fucking games. I'm too old for it. I've been through enough in my life. Broken but not beaten. I love that. I absolutely love that. Um, yeah, that's how I feel. So then, my friend of 34 years, I mean, I went to her sister's wedding, which was on the border of Canada, because I'm like 20 minutes, from this side of Canada. I gave her money so she could, 300 and something, so she could find out what's going on with her dog. And then she found out it had cardiomyopathy, and had to be put down in 2 months anyway, and so I was there for her, but yet she's telling me in Messenger, oh, you haven't been there for me in the last 10 years. Well, we've met at Dairy Queen every birthday. And last year I had some extra cash from my trust fund and I gave it to her so she could have fun and buy a meal at the casino, not just bring a bag of food and sit in her room. Do you know what I mean? It's like I do and I've done what I can. And she doesn't get it and she doesn't see it. And I think a lot of her fears, she doesn't know she's getting MS. And oh, and then I said, can you please find a doctor? Because you've been dealing with this for 6 months. They can find out what's going on with you. And she said I was, well, she's like my best friend. And then she was like butt dialing me or something and writing in this tone like I don't even know, like, oh, that was my phone, like she just hates me. And then she did it the next day, and then she started typing me, and I did something that I haven't done to anybody but my ex about 6 years ago, and that is I blocked her because it was too stressful and painful for me. And she ended it with me first. She said bye. It's whatever, you know. It's like don't expect anything from me anymore. I mean, I just last year I was like, gosh, you know, she's getting older and I'm getting older. I'm going to be so sad when she passes away someday, and now I don't know anything, you know. And then yeah, I mean, she just, you know, oh, and then she tried to call me, but my phone was charging and it was off. And I explained that to her, and I actually tried to call her because I thought, well, if we hear each other's voices, right, we can come to some kind of agreement or something. And she wouldn't answer. She would not answer. And yeah, and this went on for a couple of weeks. It wasn't just a 1 or 2 day flip decision. You know, don't call me an evil entity. You know, for fuck's sake, that made me mad. You know, and I told her. I said, "You've had this." Then it got to the point where I just told her how I felt. I said, "You've had this passive aggressiveness for 10 years. If you're bringing up that I haven't had Christmas with you except once in the last 10 years, then you're keeping tabs and you're keeping track." Yeah, you know, I mean, I mostly feel sorry for her. She's lonely. She's in one of those elderly homes where you live. And again, I mean, I was young, you know, I'm 64 now, and I was 30 then. And she was 30. I think she's 8 years older than me. She was 38. And, you know, her daughter passed away from kidney, whatever it's called. At the age of 36, she died. And a memorial was like the last thing I really wanted to do, but I went graciously and told her, yeah, I'll be there. And I went there, and it was sad, and we were all crying, and because she was young, 36. And that was just a few years ago. So I don't know. So anyway, listening to this, because I wanted to leave and go get a water and start drinking it, but I didn't want to miss anything. But I watched back my lives anyway to see how the sound is, and in the past if I needed a mod, but I don't do that anymore. Check out the quality, right? And also there's some remarks sometimes I have to delete, you know, if they're racist or a bunch of outright drug names, right, in the chat or something, I have to, you know, delete those. So, but I gotta say, this helped me and feel a little better, because do I twist my feelings around to accommodate. Like, I'm to the point where I don't have to accommodate anyone anymore. You know, I went out with Darren for 8 years, and I didn't really feel like I was accommodating him. But then again, when you're in a relationship, there's that give and take all the time. Um, yeah, and so, you know, it's nice. But I'm going to go. It's been 101 minutes, 38 seconds. I am monetized. I'm on, like, I think my 5th month. And I've had a channel close to 3 years. So this is new to me. So if anybody wants to sign up, it's only $1.99 a month. And YouTube says that we should bring this up a couple of times during our lives, but I usually do at the end. And if you want to send me a little super chat or something, it'll go towards my threshold of $100, which I thought I had till the 20th. That's why I brought it up in the sound check one. No, you have to have 100 by the 13th. So what'll happen is I'll have it, but I won't get $140 or whatever like I usually do this month. If I did, it would be coming in on the 21st. So with ad revenue, people watching, right, watching my shorts, commenting, you know, becoming a member, whatever it is, you know, I'll get there by the next month, by next month, and that's helpful. It was my daughter's idea. I am on PayPal. I'm what the heck am I? PayPal is at capital D as in dog, Dakota, capital D as in Dame. So you got Dakota Dame, 0627, because my birthday is the month of June, the 6th month, the 27th. So Dakota Dame 0627. Thank you. That's really sweet. Don't feel like you have to. Nobody has to. But, you know, I've seen real major grifting on YouTube, and I also don't put up wish lists. I don't do that. You know, we don't need a bunch of gifts. We don't need extra nicer things. We have what we need. You know what I mean? My mom used to give me $200 for Christmas. And every year I'm told, oh, put an Amazon wish list up. No. There's people out there that have nothing. Like, it's really sad, especially the earthquake victims. You know, no, I'm not. You know, that's why I don't even let myself majorly cry anymore, because I was up on Team Rose, a good friend of mine, her panel, and I was just overwhelmed with feelings and whatever. And my mom hadn't even passed away at that point, and or no, yeah, she had. And we went through our little tiff or whatever for 2 weeks, and we're really good friends now. But I felt this pain that wouldn't go away. And I remember people on our panel were like, well, have a glass of milk, you better hop off and just relax. I was having a stress-induced heart attack. Couldn't flip and believe it. So I paid attention to my body, and I've said this a zillion times. It felt like a brick, the corner of a brick being pushed right here. Not wincing in pain. It was just a constant, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I remember saying to my daughter, it was like 8:30 at night. I said, Shaylin, for like 45 minutes now, I've had this pressure. I did not think I was having any kind of heart attack. I gotta tell you, you know. But I called them, and everything was okay. And then all of a sudden, these 3 guys are in the living room, and they're pulling the papers out to look at my heart. And I remember they looked at each other, and they were very concerned. And they said, you need to go. And then I was like, I'm not dying, am I? And I always think of the worst first. And they wouldn't even tell me I was having a heart attack or anything, but they knew my history with the stroke and everything. And so I had to check for the acid reflux, which I knew it wasn't. I don't have those kinds of issues ever. I had to take this pill or something, drink this 7 Up. And she comes in and she goes, "Well, it's not acid reflux." I actually have it on my live, Kenneth. Um, I brought my iPad because all the other times I've been to the doctor the ER, I've wished I'd had an iPad for something to do while I'm sitting there for 5 hours. So I grabbed it, I grabbed my charger, and I decided I wasn't monetized then. It wasn't for money. It wasn't even for clicks or views. I just was sharing my experience, and it's literally on film. It's like she walks in and she's like, "Well, it's not um, acid reflux, uh, but it's your heart." That's what she said. She didn't say you're having a heart attack. She probably knew I'd freak out. She said it's your heart, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I remember this lady, a little older than me, sounding, was in the partition on the other side. She's like, "It's okay, honey. You're gonna be okay. You're here now." And I had I don't know, something to do with her heart. And I was okay, and she was so sweet. And I told her thank you. And the next thing I know, it's one of those stress induced. But I had to, you know, go in some room and have the thing put in my arm. And if that didn't work, it would have been the groin area. So they had to shave me like up above on top a little bit. Like, I didn't even, it's not like I needed that, but it has to be done. Like, there's nothing. But they ended up going through my arm, and then I had that black thing I had to wear for a while, and then I had to go to rehab, and I only did that for a month and a half because it's 3 miles there, 3 miles back. You're so funny, Mr. Okasha. Thank you for the compliment. But that was intense. That was intense. 20 minutes on this foot thing, and 20 minutes on a treadmill, and 3 miles on my bike up, which was uphill. And I actually filmed that one day. You could hear me huffing and puffing. It was a nice day in the 70s, but I told him 3 times a week, this is too much. It's causing me stress getting there, and they understood. And yeah, so it's kind of intense. And then my son's got his anxiety and depression he deals with, but he's watching that peanut butter gamer guy again, which he showed me like 8 years ago or something. He's 30. He's on the autism spectrum, but he's really having fun with that. And he's been watching with his friend that used to live here. They've known each other since they were 10. Yeah. He lives in New York now, his friend, and they're watching Big Bang Theory and laughing their butts off about that. I'll really hear him laugh now and then. And we'll go for a walk around here. Good. We did 5 times yesterday. Usually it's 4. And, maybe we can do 6 the next time. But he rides his bike to his appointments. He'd rather get rides, I'm sure, take a cab. But I'm like, you need the exercise, you need the oxygen, you need the air, and I do too. So yeah, yeah, and people ask me why I don't drive. For one, I've had 2 permits. I got one after having taken the test when my son was 4, and I drove. From here to Ferndale, which is like 50 minutes and back, but it was scary being on the highway and coming off the ramp. And I was just, because he's in a Jeep. It was this lady's Jeep I met at church, and then I got it again, and I didn't feel like I had like that many lessons. So, and I ended up moving to Davenport, Iowa, to visit my sister. And honestly, you guys, it's like we have an incredible bus system that I used to take, and I've just always ridden my bike. I mean, even my daughter would be on the little seat in front, and I'd pedal her to preschool. She'd have her helmet on. I'd have mine. I was very careful. And then I'd ride my bike home, and then I'd ride it back and pick her up, and then ride it home again. That was every day. So, and now having a car or anything, right? There's darn gas, and it's sky high here, and you got to have insurance and all kinds of things. So, and the upkeep of cars, but you know, we're blessed in many ways. So I really am going to go now. Thanks to all the new people. Thank you to my new subscribers. It's $1.99 a month if you want to become, I think it's a guinea pig first, because I used to have 2 males at the same time. They have to be males to get along. Yeah. And they didn't live 4 years or 5. They lived 6 to 8, all of them except Butterscotch. And poor Butterscotch just ate a blueberry fine in the morning, and even a tomato, soft foods, and then couldn't even eat that. Brought him to the vet, and the teeth, instead of this, it was like this. So for free, they, what is it called? Not sawed, but shaved the teeth down. And then he said to me, every 4 months, you're going to have to bring this little guy in. And it's not a fun experience for him, but you're going to have to do this for the rest of his life, because genetically, his teeth, and he said, or we can put the little guy down right now. And I knew what I had to do, and I was bawling. Oh my God. I was like, I was bawling in front of people and everything. It was just, I feel like I was at a darn funeral, Yeah. And our very first one, Cappuccino, he had some blueberries, like I found out, like, it's very, like, I had a guinea pig book. I didn't know what I was doing. It all started with helping a lady friend that used to live here. And her son also had those flying squirrel things, whatever. And he wasn't able to do the upkeep of the guinea pig. And since he lived here and he was autistic and 5, same age as my daughter then, my daughter's 22 now, so this is a long time ago. I was like, well, I'll take him, and I didn't know what on earth I was doing. And then they thrive and they're happy, right? They're very social little creatures if they have a friend in the cage with them. So I always had 2. And so for 13 years, and it wasn't easy. Charlie was the last one, because Stormy died at we had him, no, he was 4 years old. And my friend Monique picked him up at the Humane Society, and on the paper it said 4 years old. So for 4 years, he was all alone in this little cage. I gotta tell you, I feel really, really sorry for little pets that are alone in cages, from what I've learned and experienced. But I was told they had to be males, right? Two males for guinea pigs. So yeah, but Cappuccino, the first time, okay, so Cappuccino, he was big, and he was an Abyssinian, so he had this long hair. Thank you. He's fine in the morning. I remember him crawling up on the cage. He ate his blueberries, whatever. And I walked in at about 3:30, and I mean, it wasn't early morning. It was probably like 11, and he was fine and everything. But then I came in at 3:30, because I would check on him. It wasn't like they'd be just in my room 6 hours with no attention. I was a good mama, I think. and his back was to the cage door thing. And he was laying like this, and I went to touch him, and he was hard. I was just sick. That was my first death of a guinea pig. And I jumped back and I screamed, and I found maintenance, and the guy doesn't work here anymore. An older man buried him in the back by the creek. That was really, really hard. And before that, we had a little destumped ferret that my daughter's father had named Rex, and we had him for 4 years. And then he got cardiomyopathy, and he was getting sick. We found that out, and he was eating yogurt on my finger. He was whitish gray. And one day, when I went to give him this yogurt, usually he laps it up, he did a 360 to like not eat it. So I called the vet and I said, how do I know when to put this little animal down? I was crying, and he said, when their quality of life is over, that's when. It's not about quantity, right? It's quality. Had to put the little guy down. They asked if I wanted to hold him. I said, I just can't. But then with the cats, I've always been there with the past cats. But that's kind of depressing, and that's, but I went through all that because first you're a guinea pig, and then you become a cat on the second tier. And really, really quickly on Cash App, it's at Paper Cut Tina. Paper is capital P. I believe the Tina is a capital T, because that was my name on Dolly Vision in the past. Yeah, $ Paper Cut Tina. So thank you so much. I'm really gonna go now. I don't even know what time it is. It's roasting in here. But thanks for being here, all the new people. If I didn't say hi to you, I'm saying hi now. Thank you. I should be here sometime tomorrow. I'm trying to do some kind of live and getting my cardio in, whether it's moving like this or jumping up and down dancing each day. Thanks, you guys. Love you. Thanks to the people out at the barbecues, the 12 right now watching. And we don't need to explain ourselves like I've been doing for absolute months. And then even with my friend Terry, explaining in Messenger. Well, there's McDonald's fired me. Thank you. I gotta go. I'm ending my live right now, but watch it back. Check out my past heart videos. I also got my fingers slammed in the door. That's why it's a different color. See, this is whitish all the way down, and that's a dark purple on top, and then white. I have no feeling in it. It fractured, and the skin came up, and I had to have stitches. It was 2 years ago, and it was horrific. And I have videos on that. So yeah, good to see you. McDonald's fired me. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Love you guys.